How are you spending your Friday nights? Toasting your own marshmallows? Fire pit need rekindling? Come on, join us every Friday night at the Fire Pit, where our conversation really heats up. Now, this morning, I've got a very special guest who I think is, she's very talented, and she's extremely cool. She's a musician, singer, songwriter, but she's got a very special twist going on, and I want to find all about it. Okay, Erica Lane, welcome to Fire Pit Friday.
Thank you.
Oh, great to have you. It's early, and I know we were all up really late last night, so I won't make this as painless as possible.
That's fine.
Now, you have Inspired Ambitions, which is a reality TV show that you're working on. And is this what brought you to the Gideon Media Conference, or what actually brought you here?
It's called Inspired Ambition, and it's a reality television series that follows me as I try to break into the music industry. Kyle, who's my husband, who's created the show, he approached me and said, originally he wanted to follow a well-known artist, someone who was well-established, and I thought that would make an interesting show called Inspired Ambition. But then he thought, well, I go with you everywhere. We travel together a lot, and I'm an unsigned artist, so he thought, well, that'd be a really interesting story to follow someone as they're really trying to break in and see all the steps that they have to take, all of the obstacles that they come up against, and so I said, well, as long as it's going to be an inspirational, positive show,
yes,
I'm all for it, and hopefully it'll change lives. Everywhere that we go, I'm in a new event or I'm in a different situation, and we film, what I'm going through there, and then also in every episode, I interview usually a different artist who is well established and someone who's usually impacted me as I was growing up.
How are you handling all of this? Because with the balance, the family, and the business, it's quite difficult. So could you explain how's that affecting you?
Doing this show to where I'm always meeting these new people and having to learn new personalities and be in new situations and share that with the world.
That's the best.
The mistakes that I'm making, but God is showing me through that showing your vulnerability can be a blessing to others, because they can relate to you and they can learn from your mistakes, and they can see your triumphs and cry with you and laugh with you, and it really inspires people. It really does.
You have your family with you, so that's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah, it's great. It's a great support system.
Yeah, I know, because that the one thing that the universal thing that the musicians go through is they feel as if they have a band family, and because their real family doesn't, or their biological family doesn't understand the whole musician thing, like you explained.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my family was, especially my mom, she's been a teacher all her life, and my extended family were teachers, and it was hard for them to grasp what I was doing, but they've accepted it and they support me completely.
As a matter of fact, I think we have a family member that's actually here, not too far. Is Kyle here? Here? I just wanted to say that's wonderful, and I'm so awesome that you're supporting your wife and keeping the balance in the family between the music and the industry and all that great stuff. But you're super talented.
He's very creative.
You are very creative and super talented. And could you tell the podcasters what you do?
Me and my brother have been doing film and video production for 13 probably years. I don't know. We started freelancing just at a Christian network, TBN, just started doing ropes and cameras, and then we moved on, ended up doing music videos, some of which landed on MTV and BET and wherever, and then we ended up doing documentaries, a few independent features, television specials, and so that's what we do. I don't know.
God brought him into my life not just because we were meant to be together and he's the one for me, but also because we work together as a team in a ministry, and it's totally awesome.
That's your
awesome.
key word. God is your key word. You're a team. Good luck with everything, and I'm sure it's going to be beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Hi, we are here at the Gideon Media and Arts Conference interviews exclusive, and right now I have the woman of the moment. Look at this woman of the moment. And as woman of the moment, you're honored. You are one of our honored guests on the Fire Pit, Lori Meritt. Welcome to the Fire Pit.
Thank you.
Oh.
And welcome
well,
to our conference.
Thank you so much. I really like being here, and because you've made the experience so welcoming. Now this is a collective effort. This is something that you came up with. I mean, how did this start, the Gideon Arts Media Conference?
With my husband, we both decided that this is what we would do. It's kind of a spin-off from my mother's writers conference, and she decided that the media arts was not a direction she wanted to head in, and so my husband and I developed our own.
Your husband, Rodney, correct?
Right. Correct.
Have you seen him lately?
No, he's running here and there.
Yeah.
His phone's always ringing. People keep him busy, so he's somewhere around here.
I wanted to thank you and Rodney for promoting Fire Pit Friday here at the Gideon Arts Conference. Rodney was a little against it at first.
He was?
Yeah, at first he said, no way, I would never, ever promote Fire Pit Friday ever, so.
I don't know what's wrong with
I
him.
had to talk him into it.
Yeah, you should have seen me first.
Yeah?
I mean, come to me first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Rodney, man, thank you so much.
I'm a billboard.
He's the best prop we've ever had on a fire pit. I just want to say thank you to both of you. Honestly, all kidding aside, without you two, this event would not be what it is, because you have put in long hours, lots of effort, time, and you have completely blessed this conference with all of your love. So, thank you, first of all. But I want to know, who came up with this idea?
Well, it was, like Lori said, it was collaborative. She had the thought of a media arts conference. I had the thought of a film festival, and we just kind of combined it and went the Lifeway, and they said, hey, let's go for it.
Here you are, and how do you come up with your selection of guests? This is a big task.
Well, I think with her mom's writers conference, we had a core of people that we started with that we knew already. Ken Wells, Ted Baer, Linda Sager. Those were the three that first, I believe, that we contacted. And that was the group. We figured if we get those three, then we could get more faculty from that.
And you did. I mean, Mr. Phil Vischer's here too.
I'll let you handle that because you had a lot to do with that.
Cindy Kinney, who wrote for Big Idea, she's one of these women that you may not know her face or may not know her name, but you know her books, you know her videos, and so she was very instrumental in getting the people from Big Idea and Phil Vischer.
Oh, that's fantastic. What is inspiring you to continue to do this wonderful work here at the Gideon Conference, but also just keeping your spirits up?
I started writing screenplays about 10 years ago, and I did well in competitions. Was semifinalist and finalist in a lot of national competitions, which got the recognition and put my name out there, but I was told I couldn't make it unless I moved to LA. But we have so many talented people on the East Coast. So that's what inspires me. We need something here on the East Coast that can help people. Not everyone can have a mass exodus to LA, we're called where we are.
You know what? Oh, that kind of sums up the interview, because you two truly keep the fire burning.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome. Okay, folks, listen, please go to the website, the Lifeway website, so you can give Lori and Rodney feedback. This is very important if you've been to the conference. And if not, go to the website anyway, so you can see in 2009 all the great things that are happening, so you can hop on board and come here to this beautiful, will it be here next year?
Yes.
It will be.
Okay, so to come to Ridgecrest and have a wonderful time, just like we are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hi, podcasters. We're outside. It's gorgeous out today. We didn't want to do interviews inside, correct, Cecil?
No.
No, and it's just
And the fact that they banned us from being inside kind of helped.
Did they ban you?
No, they banned you, and I was just playing along and saying we.
Joker. All right, listen. I've got this man, this director, producer, filmmaker,
Model
break
extraordinaire.
dancer, model, and what else do you do?
I basket weave.
Basket Weaver is here with me and you at the Fire Pit, and I can't wait to talk to Cecil Stokes about his new movie that's being premiered here at Gideon Arts Festival, and A Man Named Pearl. I think that's a very interesting title. Can you tell me about that?
You know, it is. We got very lucky that Pearl's parents actually named him Pearl, or that would not have been the title of the movie. And when you come down to naming your first movie, you probably have 10 or 12 different things you're thinking of, but there was only one answer for us. This is A Man Named Pearl.
A Man Named Pearl. And wait, how did you get started in filmmaking? Go from the beginning. Very beginning.
I mean, truly.
You're a baby.
Truly, very beginning. Very beginning. I just answered the phone is really what happened. When I was in college, I had a work-study job to help pay for my tuition, and I got a call from a television station saying they needed someone to work for the summer. And instead of posting the job like a good little boy, I just put it in my pocket and went and took the job. And I got into television and then into film. And
that's kind of like what Michael Catt was saying about being a maverick.
I'm a maverick. That job was only a 3-month job for a company that wasn't necessarily a company I wanted to work for. And I found the company I wanted to work for, and I went and applied, and I had my first meeting, and they told me there was nothing available but to call them. And I called them every 2 weeks for 9 months, and on the 18th call, the guy I had been calling 18 times said, "We're gonna find something for you, be here Monday."
So you would suggest and maybe give advice to be persistent.
Persistent and ambitious and persevere. If you feel led to do what you want to do, then there's nothing that's going to, humans can't stop you.
That's true, only you can stop you.
That's right.
Now, A Man Named Pearl is not your first project.
It's not. I've done about 1,500 hours of television for cable networks. I've done a lot of commercials, and A Man Named Pearl is our first film. Our company's Tent Makers Entertainment. And it's the first time that we said this story is more deserving of a television show. It's a film.
And can I add one other thing, one other compliment? Cecil, thank you so much for helping Fire Pit Friday out by being generous enough because of your talents, your media, and your DP, Neil, who's been, hey Neil, we love you. We do love you. Thank you. I love you too. And he's been wonderful, and you were the one who actually made that happen. So you also believe in networking.
I believe in networking, but then I also have to say that, you know, those of you who are watching this 1 hour today, all the others are like one way, and then I'm different. But I made it into the show because I brought Neil along.
How do you feel about you two being a filmmaker?
I'm excited about it. Okay. I think it's going to bring up people who are very young now and fall in love with the profession that'll have a passion for it that those of us who may have been trained for it don't have. So I think it's going to be very good for filmmaking future.
That's fair. And how do you feel about the industry? Do you have any comments as far as getting out there, getting your projects into the mainstream, or even Christian market and faith-based projects?
Well, Christian market and faith-based specifically, I feel that I tell people we reap what we show. And that's very important to me because I feel like if we put bad things on TV or bad things in the film or even things that just aren't good for your soul, for your morality and ethics, that's what people will become in the future. And I feel like if we put out there good shows and good movies and good things, that's who we'll create for the society that we leave behind.
That's great advice.
So I think we reap what we show, and you've got to do the good things and tell the good stories, or it's not going to be a bright future.
A bad representation of just society in general.
Right. And it has nothing to do with filmmaking. That's just in your life.
Hey, let's go to an influence. I want to know just a little bit about your influence. What influences you? Movie-wise, can you just dig down in there?
No.
You march to your own drum, Cecil.
You know, it's a trombone, actually. I think that one of the best things that happened with A Man Named Pearl for me is I decided to stop working 60 hours a week and spend more time outside and just enjoy life and really, you know, taking time to smell the roses and not just working until I die.
Ooh, something everybody.
It's a cliche.
Heed that warning.
Everyone is told that at some point in their lives, and no one realizes it till normally they're on their deathbed and they look back and they never say, "I wish I had worked more. I wish I had gone on that business trip. You know, they never say that. They always say, I wish I'd spent more time with my family. I wish I had taken more vacations. I wish I had been there when my children were younger. On your deathbed, you're never going to regret working that you didn't work hard enough.
Wow, that's wonderful. Well, give us a little synopsis for the viewers about your movie.
Well, A Man Named Pearl is actually opening in 70 cities this summer.
Yay.
So, you know, anytime that you're watching this, even on the web, if you just go to amannamedpearl.com, you'll be able to see what cities it's opening in. So that's very exciting. We're opening in July in New York City, LA in August, and several other cities in between. We open in Asheville in 2 weeks. We open in Oregon this weekend.
Awesome.
So there's just it's doing very well, and it will be in your city, and we hope that you go out and see it, because I've been to 7 or 8 different showings in cities of people don't even know who I am, and I stand by the door and I write down things they say as they leave, and it's amazing that they're all positive comments, and they're amazing things. It's a movie that's life-changing, and that's kind of incredible that I got to be a part of it.
Positive, life-changing. These are the messages we want to hear more of, Cecil. So continue making your movies, please.
Thank you.
And one more time, where can the podcasters go to your website?
Well, my website.
Oh, yeah, that is awesome. Did you see?
What's really unfortunate is, you know, in television, the passerby always thinks, I can get on TV or I can ruin this shot, and they toot their horn.
Yeah.
That was actually a very close friend who knows that fact and decided to ruin it anyway.
But he's a comedian, and a really good comedian.
He is.
So we'll give Tori props for that.
Hey, that was Tori, who you've seen on this show. He just ruined my shot. So, and here he comes again. He's made a U-turn.
It's going to come back, though.
So let's say goodbye quickly.
Okay, you ready? Goodbye quickly.
Goodbye.
Goodbye quickly. Goodbye quickly. Hello, podcasters. Today is Thursday, and we're starting our very first interview with an Peabody Award-winning writer
and
director,
producer, executive producer, actor,
and breakdancer. Mr. Paul McCusker, an Irish name. Shelly.
I don't do that.
I would like to find out exactly how you feel about this Gideon Arts Media Conference and why you're here, and share this with the podcast listeners.
Well, it's the first one, and I was glad to be part of a first of anything.
Yes.
I'm actually here because Tori Martin put my name forward as someone that they should contact, Mr. Networker himself. And they asked me to come out and teach on a variety of different things, and I was honored to do it. And I actually don't do this very often. I'm impressed.
Any highlights you want to mention?
Going down to Asheville today to buy trains for the Adventures in Odyssey live-action India program.
Do tell
that's
the podcasters.
That's a very strange sort of thing, but we're actually going to produce live-action Odyssey episodes specifically for India, so they're Indianized. Indigenized? And they needed, because Wits End has this big train set, so they wanted trains, but they're really expensive in India.
Now we're talking the train sets, the model train sets.
Model train sets that Wit has set up in Wits End, and so the producer is here for the Arts Festival.
And his name is?
Anish Daniel. And so it's wonderful to see him again. And so I went down with him to Asheville to buy model train sets. And it's very strange to try to explain that to the salespeople that we're trying to buy a train set for an Indian live-action program based on an American show, which is a little bit strange.
That is strange, especially since most of the stuff you buy in America is made in India. Tell us about your works personally, what drives you to do what you do?
Well, I've always liked writing, so ever since I was a little kid, I was always writing something or other. And then you take that, combine that with my faith, my Christianity, my belief that if I'm telling stories, I should be telling the stories that God wants me to tell. So you put those two together, and so for the last, I think, 30 years, that's what I've been trying to do. And Bonhoeffer, there it is, Peabody Award-winning writer-director of Bonhoeffer, Costa
Could you talk about Bonhoeffer?
And yeah, should I do it in German, or would you like it in
Since it's a Peabody Award-winning piece.
Well, that was the big shock. I'll tell you the story about that, because this is bizarre. So we started Focus on the Family Radio Theater, and the idea was to do secular-worthy stories with a Christian message, basically from a Christian worldview. And Bonhoeffer was on the list of trying to figure out how to tell his story. So we did a production of Christmas Carol, and then we went on to do Bonhoeffer, which I wrote based on all of his material. Went over to England to do it, And as we do, we record there. And the day they called to say that I was, by the way, we didn't win for the writing. I have no doubt that we won because of the acting and the sound production. But so that's Dave Arnold and that team who did that. But we were in the studio recording Chronicles of Narnia when we got the call, and they said, "You've won the Peabody Award."
Okay, that's amazing.
And so I'm in the studio, and I had to stop for a moment because I thought, here we are in a studio in London, and we were working with Paul Scofield. This is the Academy Award winner actor. He just passed away a couple of weeks ago, which was a great loss to us, but he was wonderful to work with. So I'm thinking, okay, I've won the Peabody Award for Bonhoeffer, which was completely unexpected, and I'm sitting in London, of all places, working with Academy Award winning actors.
Amazing.
And I thought, I don't even know how this is possible. I could never retrace how we got to such a great place
There's
in
always
our,
a plan,
in our work.
Paul. There's always
you know.
a plan. It just happens.
Well, it was very humbling. It was an amazing honor on all sides.
Hey, what would you say to students or anybody who is wanting to do this? Encouraging words.
Well, I think more than anything, if you want to do it, do it. Don't wait. Always have your tent making. It's always a good idea if you want to get into any art form to dedicate yourself to it, to work hard at it, but also keep that up against the reality of the marketplace, the fact that you're dealing with producers or publishers, you're dealing with people who really may not share exactly what it is that you want to do, but if you feel dedicated to it, keep at it, but always have a backup plan. That's always it for me.
Now, what is next for Paul? Besides the trains, now come on, Paul, that's very
Okay,
important.
there's a little bit
I'm
more.
not gonna, downplay that at all.
Yes, just finished some Adventures in Odyssey scripts, which we recorded last week. And when I get home tomorrow, I'll start working on a dramatization of the Screwtape Letters, which is our next project. We'll hope to be in London at the end of June to record that. But we have a good relationship with the Lewis estate because of our work on the Chronicles of Narnia. So I'm looking forward to figuring out what in the world we're going to do with that.
You're just gonna jet set, that's what you're gonna do. And you're gonna spread the word, that's what you're gonna do.
Well, exactly. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we have a couple of other things, a children's program I'm developing and a few other things like that.
Well, it has been my personal pleasure to talk to you, and so lucky podcasters. Can you believe this? This is craziness. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
You're a great person.
Thank you.
It's been wonderfully organized. What they have done for a first time is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I think it's amazing seeing the other side of the creative picture. We put them into words and they're putting them on the screen, and it's just, oh wow, they had the same vision that somebody else had. I think that's
Yeah.
what
I'm saying it's like learning a whole new language because they have the same terminology, but it means completely different things for films than it does in books. So it's like we need to take a new language course to understand what they're talking about.
Wow.
But we've learned how to restructure our novels
right.
so that they're more easily adaptable
More
into
cinematic.
film. Yeah, so it's been really helpful for us.
Okay, so
been
that's
great.
making it easier to collaborate.
Right.
Wow.
it's tight, right, and cinematic or something like that. That didn't rhyme, but that was close.
That's good enough. It's watching your baby
Yeah.
come to life.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, well, signing off for now, podcasters, you have an inside scoop on the honored authors here at the Gideon Media and Arts Conference next year. It's amazing. You got to sign up. Come on. So you already know about the podcast, you've been on it, and yada yada. Well, this Power of Networking thing here at the Gideon Conference, how do you think that went?
Well, I think it went pretty good. Actually, what we tried to do is just form our own network within this meeting, so I won't really know how it went until a year from now. But I'm believing we equipped some people, and I'm anxious to see what's going to happen with it.
Okay. And you, Cynthia?
And Tori actually let me get a word in edgewise.
Shut up! Enough about her.
You know, I think pretty much, folks, that sums it up. All right, signing off.
Did I sound smart? Bye-bye. I sounded smart.
No, you didn't sound smart.
Hey, podcasters, it's Cece again, and of course we are having a blast together at the Gideon Media and Arts Conference. And of course it wouldn't be the same if we left this conference without interviewing a wonderful man, great author, and a filmmaker, to boot, Mr. Ray Blackston. Welcome to the Fire Pit.
Thanks for having me, CC. Appreciate it.
Oh, well, I am just so honored that you're here. I have a couple questions for you.
Okay, so first of all, you're an author. Please tell the podcasters about your writings and your work.
Okay, back in 2000, I brought my first manuscript up here to Ridgecrest at the Blue Ridge Christian Writers Conference, and it was the funny story of a guy going to church to meet girls. First thing I'd ever written as an adult, and it got a first place award for those 30 pages, and they encouraged me to turn it into a full-length novel. Came back 2 years later, an editor said, you ought to change it from present tense to past tense. I did that. Sent it back to her. She passed it on to another editor, and in 2003, I got a publishing contract for Flabbergasted. Very unusual to just go through like one little reject or two and get a publishing contract, but that was just God's blessing. I'd been in these Christian singles groups for 10 years and seen all those quirky and funny dynamics, and that kind of came into the story, and it was just literally plucking the humor out of a life experience and putting it on the page. And it became a trilogy. And so this week, we're showing an 8-minute trailer of it. A friend of mine from Greenville, the producer, and we just made a short 8-minute trailer to show the film people here just to see, do they think this is transferable to film?
Ooh, that's kind of scary in a sense, because this is your premiere. This is kind of the unveiling here, huh?
It is, but you have to realize too, when you write a book, when it goes to film, there's going to be a lot of scene changes and that kind of thing. So you have to be very flexible as to pulling in the producer, actors, and all the different dynamics. When you write a novel, and it's literally you in a room by yourself. Producing even a short film, you've got a lot of people involved, and you have to humble yourself and just allow the whole thing to develop as the momentum goes. So.
How did that work for you? Tell me that experience. Was it something you'd do again?
I would do it again. Wish we had a larger budget, but I was literally holding the light, coaching the dialogue, and doing the sun shield thing. I was the setup guy. I would go get the snacks. I mean, it was just two of us producing, directing, everything, and using some people in our church drama group that volunteered to be actors. So it was great fun. I think it's a pretty good way to pitch a book as a novel, is to make your own trailer of it, if you can do it with quality and with excellence.
Let's see, Flabbergasted. This is exactly what we're talking about today. Now, this is on your website, correct?
Right. This is my first novel, the one that is sold, well, it's outsold the rest of them combined of the 5. And it came out in May of 2003, and it is an opposites attract story from a guy going to church to meet girls, and the girl he spies is home on furlough from the jungles of South America where she works with orphans. She's from South Carolina, but she's just home for the month on furlough, and they get to know each other on the beach around Pawleys Island, South Carolina. And it just shows a guy, relationships from the male perspective and the church through unchurched eyes. There is a salvation story in there weaved in. It is more of a romantic comedy with a faith-based backdrop is how.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Now, as an author here at the Gideon Media and Arts Conference, if you can think of one word to sum up how you feel about the conference and what you're going through, can you come up with one word?
Faith in flabbergasted, faith inspiring, yeah, flabbergasted, yeah, that's it. I am literally flabbergasted by the talent surrounding me in this room, including this great interviewer, Cece.
You're so wonderful, you're extremely talented, and thank you for this interview.
Thank you for having me. I'd love to do it again, thanks.
Oh, thank you. Hello, everyone. We're going to conclude this podcast for the Tuesday on to Wednesday tomorrow. I can't wait. Hope you had a great day with me, and I'd like to end the podcast this evening with someone who's very special, very creative, and also another special guest, Miss Shelly Ballestero. I just want to say that she's here, and she will ask a couple questions to our special guest, Michael Caton. Now, this is really awesome, folks. Michael Caton is somebody you want to watch out for. He is going to be the next biggest thing, I feel it. If he's not already the biggest thing, he's going to be the next biggest thing, at least in my life, because right now you inspired me, very much so inspired me, with Fire Pit Friday. You've kept your fire burning. We keep our fire burning. And I have a couple of questions for you, but first I'd like to say thank you.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, let me
It's a
tell
great
you.
Conference.
It is. That's what I wanted to say. Here at the Gideon Conference, what is your focus today at the Gideon Media and Arts Conference? What are you concentrating on as far as your speeches? What is your goal? What message are you sending today?
Today I did a session on being a ministry maverick, And that term came from Samuel Augustus Maverick, who was a rancher in the 1800s. It's where we got the term maverick. And he was a man who sold all of his property because he got busy in other things, but he never branded his cattle. So when he sold his cattle to other people, they were called mavericks. Go get all the unbranded cattle, and they're mavericks cattle. And so a maverick is a person who's out of the box, who's unbranded. They don't fit into the mold. And I think for ministry, it is important that in the 21st century, we start thinking like mavericks.
Now, you're a maverick in many senses because you do many things. You have a ministry. You also have the producer director side of you. How do you keep that balance in today's Christian world? How is that affecting you?
Well, I'm executive producer, which means all I do is when they bring me an idea, I go, "Hey, good idea. That's a good idea. You go do that." It is a tough balance, but I think when God calls you to do something, He equips you to do what He calls you to do. Just like when you started this, God equips you. He opens the right doors at the right time. As I said last night, sometimes He seems slow, but He's never late. And he gives us seasons, and He also gives us the grace for those seasons.
Tell the podcasters about your new movie that you have out.
Okay. It's called Fireproof, and the website is fireproofthemovie.com. And it's about a couple. They've been married 7 years. They're about to divorce. Neither one of them are believers. He's a fireman, and she's a public relations spokesperson for a hospital. And the bottom line of the movie is there's a motto among firemen: you never leave your partner behind, especially in a fire. And it's not that we will never go through fires. All of us go through fires. All of us go through tests. Fireproof means just like a firewall in a computer. It protects. It guides a smoke alarm in a house. It's to protect you. It's that you have prepared yourself for the inevitable or for the possible. It doesn't mean you're exempt. It doesn't mean, oh, I love Jesus, I'll never have another problem. But it means that when I go through a fire, I have the resources available to withstand that fire and that test. So we're excited about it. It releases in September of 2008. So we're very excited about working with Sony and Provident again and getting that message out. On covenant marriage, we think that's a big deal, to deal with that you don't leave your partner behind in a fire. This movie, of course, it's made by church. Sherwood Pictures is a part of our ministry at Sherwood Baptist. And this movie, there were 1,200 of our people involved in some way in making the movie, from little old ladies cooking the food and doing catering, and retired men doing the security, homeschoolers helping with the microphones and the lighting. It's just a great thing to see unity. There's something about unity that is great, because when you blow it, you can all laugh. Okay, none of us are pros. We don't know what we're doing. Thank God we just didn't totally embarrass ourselves, So, we're all just learning this. I mean, we're learning how to do this. There was one scene in particular we had to do. It was a pretty dangerous scene because there's some pyrotechnics in this one. We burned a couple of things down, and we just said, we need to pray. And one of our ladies said, let's just ask God that we can do this in one take. Now, that is unheard of. In making a movie, you don't do something like that in one take. And so somebody said, yeah, let's just ask God if we can do it in one take. And so they prayed, and we got that scene, which was the most dangerous scene for us to shoot. And we didn't have stand-ins. So you got to do it with the real deal people. And we got it done in one take. Of course, then, Stephen Kendrick comes up and says, let's ask God if we can do it all in one take.
I'd like to know, what would be some advice for some young people out there who are wanting to make it in the movies? For young writers, for the Fine Arts Festival and Encore, so you're a lot of readers there, and these young people are on fire to write for the Lord, but yet to make it excellent.
Great question.
Well, I think obviously a conference like this, which I hope continues, you've got to go to places and meet people. You have to connect the dots. You have to network, and it's not networking for political. My mentor said you don't have to chase key men if you know the one who holds the keys. But you can't sit at your kitchen table and say, God, you'll send somebody my way. You got to meet people. You have to meet people. You never know when there will be somebody that you'll connect with, that knows somebody else, that gives you the opportunity that you wouldn't have otherwise. You know, you can be as passionate and as sincere as you want to be, but if you don't get out and meet people who can make you better. And one of the things I said in the session today is mavericks look for other mavericks. You know, if you want to know how to hone your craft, then find somebody that's already doing it. Here's one of the things I tell young people. Everybody eats breakfast, everybody eats lunch, and everybody eats dinner. If there's somebody you want to meet and somebody you want to talk to, just go up to them and say, could I have 20 minutes of your time, or could I buy you breakfast?
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, because they're going to eat somewhere, and if they don't already have a commitment, I mean, some of the people that I became the closest to in my life in ministry, I got to know because I called their secretary and said, I see that they're flying in to Oklahoma City. I live an hour and a half out of Oklahoma City. Instead of him renting a car, could I pick him up at the airport? I'll carry his bags. I mean, I did that.
Smart.
I carried his bags. I said, I will get him to wherever he needs to go, when he needs to get there, if I can just have time in the car to pick his brain. But if you're waiting for them to come to you, they're not going to come to you. You have to go to them. You have to get to know them. You have to make the effort. And sometimes they'll tell you no 5 or 6 times before they finally say, well, okay, you know, I'll do this to get this person off my back. And who knows, that's the beginning of a great relationship.
Thank you so much for sharing with the Fire Pit. This is really great, and this is a wonderful message, and it's exactly what we want to share with everybody.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hi, podcasters. Hey, check it out. Okay, if you're a woman and you really want to know about the inside scoop on beauty, the beauty within, the beauty inside and out, I've got the woman here who can tell you what she's doing to make it happen for the woman, all over woman, healthfully. It's Shelly Ballestero. Hello. Shelly, I really, really, really like what you're doing. I really enjoy how you take your beauty tips, you turn them into a very earthy, organic sort of ministry, if that makes any sense. You really, really help women. Could you tell the podcasters what you do, and we'll go from there?
Okay. Well, first I write a lot about beauty and health, and I'm CBN.com's beauty and health advisor, so I do have a lot of articles about beauty and health and how cosmetics can actually make you sick at times, and how people keep thinking our skin is like plastic and that makeup doesn't absorb, or lotions and potions and all that stuff don't absorb into the body, which it does.
It does.
So I kind of like talk about how we can avoid these things, and if you can't avoid it and you don't want to change your products, maybe there's some herbal supplements that you can actually help along the way.
And tell us why you're here at the Gideon Media and Arts Conference.
I am doing a workshop on makeup, not so much the health aspects of it, but tips and tricks on how you can get rid of puffy eyes, and I may have them right now, so I didn't use my method, but how you can do certain things, and like if you're on as a photographer or headshots, you need headshots too. There's some tips like eyeshadows. You can take eyeshadow, and if you have roots, you can just put the color eyeshadow onto your roots, and it will get rid of, and you can do blondes, you can do browns, you can do brunettes, you can do anything with a mineral powder though. Like a mineral powder eyeshadow works better than, I'd say, a talc.
About your book, where can people purchase your book?
They can't buy it yet. It's
Where?
gonna be,
They will be.
They will be able to buy it too through my website, shellyballestero.com, or Regal Books. Regal is publishing the book, and it's due out January 2009, and the book is called Beauty by God, Inside Out Secrets for Every Woman, and I'm really excited about it because it's my first book.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you, to sum it up, what is the most gratifying thing about you writing your book, getting the message out there? What makes your heart just full of joy?
Oh, that's such a deep, long, I can sum it up. Oh, I would have to say what's so gratifying is talking with people and getting to do makeup on some lovely women that have never had makeup done before. I remember doing a conference, and there was this one young woman, and she lost her mother at 11 years old, and she never knew how to cleanse her face, how to do makeup or anything. So I did her makeup, and she looked in the mirror
after I got done, and she cried. And I said, oh no, I must have done a really bad job on her makeup. I thought, did I do too heavy? And I know I didn't. And then she looked at me and she goes, I'm beautiful. She goes, I've never looked in the mirror and thought I could be beautiful. And I said, honey, you're beautiful without that makeup. I said, I just helped you a little bit with just a little enhancement. And I think that's the biggest thing is helping people with what God has already given them, and not making them look like glamour shots or anything like that. But when you touch a woman's face, you're touching her psyche.
You're awesome.
Thank you. I think you are. I love what you're doing.
Well, thank you for this interview, and we're going to sum it up by just, if you could pick, as a beauty person, if you could pick the most perfect color to put on a woman, what color would you put on her? Whatever. What would be the color? I'm thinking more
on lips or eyes.
Lips.
I think a very light pale pink or cotton candy, anything like kind of the pinks, because I see a lot of women wear a lot of dark colors on their lips and they look a lot older.
Okay.
So if you darken your lip, remember your lips will look thinner and smaller.
Okay.
And so I think of a light color is really nice.
And keeping it as natural and true to yourself as possible.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, Brian Roberts, here we are at the Gideon Media and Arts. This is a film festival extraordinaire. Tonight, you did this incredible premiere of your directing talents. All right, I love it. I'm a little biased, but let me tell you, I really liked it a lot. Why don't you tell the podcasters exactly what you worked on and what we saw tonight?
Well, this was actually the rough cut premiere, CC. The show's not finished yet. It'll be finished in maybe another month. We'll see. But we're really excited about the Gideon Media Arts Conference and wanted to be a part of it. But we didn't have a show that was finished but not released, so we said, well, let's let them see what we're up to with the show that's in production, which is Tomato Sawyer and Huckleberry Larry's Big River Rescue. And so the show, I directed it. It was written by Phil Vischer and produced by Chris Wall. And what we showed tonight was a version that didn't have any. It had all the animation in it, but it didn't have any lighting and texturing. It only had half the score. The songs weren't all finished, like fully produced. And it had some sound effects, but I don't know. I think it went over really well.
How do you feel about that a little bit? That's like an artist kind of showing their work before the masterpiece. It's got to be a little scary.
Oh, it's really scary. But I'm a really, there's some directors who are the kind who they want to go take their script and go make a movie, and then they'll show up, a year later and say, here's my masterpiece. But I'm much more kind of collaborative, and I love getting as many voices in as possible. So the whole process of working on this film has been very collaborative, of showing it anytime I could find somebody to who would sit down and watch it for 45 minutes. This is just kind of another piece of that process of collaborative filmmaking and opening it up and getting a feel for what joke didn't hit. I'm finished with animation, but I can still do a sound effect in a spot where maybe there's a joke that didn't hit right, and try to pull out that laugh a little bit better. So
you're very proactive that way with Big Idea, getting feedback from the audience.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you helped us do some screenings when you were with us at Big Idea. I remember that.
I remember that. Good times. And
Cookies.
I love working with you.
I love working with you, Cece. Hey, wasn't the funniest part those cheerleaders?
Gonna take a trip.
Do the whole thing for me. I'll hold the mic.
Ready?
Here.
Okay. Gonna take a trip on the mighty Mississippi. Gonna take a little trippy on the mighty Mississippi. Woohoo! All right.
Let me check the levels.
Brian, I just want to give you a really, really big compliment about being a director. Working with you, I know I can say this from the heart, you bring out a lot of enthusiasm from your actors, from your voiceover actors, Tell me about the process that you go through as a director as you're doing the characters and now you're casting them. How do you bridge that gap? That's a difficult thing in an animated feature.
Well, just kind of my overall thing as a director, and this is related to me being collaborative, I really require working with people who bring their own genius, and I try to help them all, work together and fight it out and bring the best out of everybody.
Now tonight, you being an artist, I have a question for you. Just think of your palette of colors. Any color. What color would describe the feeling that you have tonight at the Gideon conference?
It's like a really like rosy fuchsia. You know?
You are on. Most people are feeling fuchsia red. I just got from Ken Wales. I just got glowing flaming tangerine.
That looks really good with fuchsia.
Okay, tonight is hot, and you are hot on the fire pit. Brian, thank you so much.
Thanks, Cece. Love you.
Love you too. Ciao.
My name is Vonda Skelton, and I'm an author and a speaker, and today I'm helping the Gideons.
So you're here with the interns this morning and having a great breakfast. How did you get this? How did you get this gig?
Well, I'm still trying to figure that out. I was going to just be part of the faculty here at the conference and teach about church drama, and the directors came up with this great idea to invite teens to apply, and so they went through a very rigid application process, and these are our winners, and we were so excited, very impressed with their work.
Yay, and we get to have breakfast with them. I'm going to go around the table, and I'm going to see the future celebrities that we've got around the table and interview them.
I'm Joe.
Joe, just Joe?
Joe
Could
Green.
be Joseph.
Yeah, Joe Green.
Joe Green, and word is, Joe, that you're the next up-and-coming star as far as media and arts, and is that true?
I don't think so.
And who do we have over here?
Nicholas.
No, we don't. Do we? Nicholas, I met you last night.
Yeah, I did.
You rock.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's going on? You're in high school.
Yeah, right now I'm making short films. I'm writing scripts and producing them, directing the films. I'm working on a novel. I write lyrics to songs. So basically, I guess you could say I have my foot in like every door or something like that. I don't know.
You sound like me.
I guess so.
My name is Ariel Jones. I play the guitar, the piano, and the drums, and I also sing. And I write my own songs. And I also love to write books, and I love acting as well. So.
Man, okay, you guys need to talk. I see some collaborating going on here.
I'm Sarah Ann Sampolis, and I'm an author. I write for teens, and this week I am here with the Gideon interns, helping them kind of travail this media circus.
My name is Annalicia Davis, and I'm a writer.
How long have you been writing?
Not very long, a few years. I've just taken a lot of writing classes and just try to branch out as much as possible. I won a short story contest, but besides that, I'm just starting out.
My name is Anna Hafner, and I do quite a bit. I like to write and I like to act, and so I help direct many skits that I would do with my cousins. I really like, so far with the people we've been talking to, they've been telling us how you structure a plot and how you develop that, and that has been really good for me because I really enjoy writing, and it's like, why is this story not going anywhere? So I think this is really going to help me improve in that area.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. There's lots of classes to choose from.
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh, crazy. I just feel like I'm among these absolutely incredibly talented young minds, and I'm blessed to be here with all of you, and I would love to talk more about all of your stories. So when you see me around the conference, make sure you pull me aside and tell me what's going on, and stay in touch too. And podcasters, look out. This is it. This is the hot table, because we're at the fire pit. It's going to be hot, hot, hot. I would like to end the evening with a great guest. His name is Ted Bear. Welcome to Fire Pit Friday.
Oh, it's great to be with you. This is a tremendous way to spend the evening here in a delightful environment. Great speakers, great movies, some wonderful people that we're equipping to go into all the world to take every thought captive and make a difference.
And I would like to ask you, what brought you here to Gideon? What was your motivation to come here?
Well, I've been coming to Ridgecrest, to the Writers' Conference, I think since the beginning of when Yvonne restarted it many years ago. But I'm here for different reasons. What we do is we have a work to try to equip people, one, to go into the media who have faith and values, and use that faith and values to take every thought captive, change the media, transform the culture, and really help enliven this country. The other side of the coin is that we're we help parents to be culture-wise and to teach our kids to be media-wise. Media is constantly changing, but it always stays the same.
Okay.
Okay.
So
You know,
the
there's
technology changes.
The technology changes, the delivery systems change, but people are basically the same. They have the same hopes and fears. You know, I helped put together the funding for films in the mid-'60s. I'm a lawyer, and I funded films in New York. I started Caton Films, helped fund some of their first films. And then I had a conversion experience. I read the Bible, came to Christ. Because I was just, you know, I grew up backstage at the Broadhurst Theater playing strip poker at the age of 9, and that's not a joke. So I grew up in the...
Oh, that's funny.
I grew up in the entertainment industry. I didn't know anything about values.
Wow.
I had a valueless youth.
Wow, that is a complete circle.
So most of the people here who grew up with values are always trying to figure out how they can minimize them. How they can sort of, well, you know, we don't want to make such a big deal about them. But when you come out of a world of chaos and sin and depravity and excess drug use, you look at that and you say, you're home. It's joyous. You don't have to keep hitting all the bars. You don't have to keep doing all the it's a great. So anyway, 28, I had this experience. I immediately went to an Episcopal seminary in New York, and then I became head of this organization that did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe on CBS television, the animated, the cartoon version, which you probably never saw.
No, I think that's wonderful though. That's what
Yeah,
an animated
one.
version.
It was the first version. The animated version had 37 million viewers, won an Emmy Award, and then I said, how do we be more effective in transforming the media? How do we get more people thinking about the goods?
Okay, Ted, again, I'll just reiterate. This is a wonderful interview and a lovely end to the evening at the Gideon conference here at Ridgecrest and Sons. I'm so happy.
And you have no limits as long as you have faith.
Cece, you little pretty little girl.
Now I'm wondering, maybe you're wondering who that voice is. Give me a little bit more voice here.
Well, this is Inspector Cleese of the famous French Sûreté.
Would you like a massage?
A massage, but only if I can find my mink key.
Podcasters, standing in front of me is Mr. Ken Wales. Now, if you know Pink Panther, then you can say Ken Wales and Pink Panther in the same sentence and it'll make sense.
Well, almost you can, but you see, I rely on a very good friend of mine. His name is Blake Edwards, and he is the one who really created the Pink Panther.
He creates it, but what did you do, darling?
Well, I'm the one that breathes life into the Inspector Clouseau and fight my nemesis, Chief Inspector Dreyfus, who is always after me.
Tell me you had fun with all of that. Tell me it was a great time.
I was very fortunate. Blake Edwards is just the most wonderful person and creative guy, and we were partners for 16 years.
How did you not have, lay down, laugh so hard your belly is splitting moments?
We did. We had a lot of those, but in the comedy area, I began working with Blake on the tail end of Breakfast at Tiffany's, and then on into as an actor in Days of Wine and Roses, Experiment in Terror, things like that. Then The Great Race, that comedy. Did you ever see that with Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis?
I love that movie.
Probably one of the best comedies ever done. And, that was with Professor Fate, played by Jack Lemmon. The bad guy.
Great actor.
Always dressed in black. Right, Cece. And then you had Tony Curtis, the great Leslie. Who was
I'm not related.
You're not related to him, no matter what? A different Curtis?
Well, his last name is Curtis, but I don't think he was born a Curtis.
No, I don't think no, it wasn't. It was. I'm just trying to think of
something.
Yeah, it was a Jewish name. I don't know. And he was Tony and Schwartz. We're getting there.
Oh, okay.
We're getting there.
I thought it was something Witz.
But it was tough. But also, I was a dialogue director on The Great Race, and it was my job to be sure that Tony Curtis did not say, "Yonder lies the castle of me father." But yonder lies the castle of my father.
So how did you do that? Were you in the wings, or how did that work?
And I did the same thing for Natalie Wood, but she was a dream. She didn't need coaching. She knew exactly what to do.
You worked with Natalie Wood? I didn't know that.
Sometimes Natalie would and sometimes Natalie wouldn't.
Uh-oh.
You just have to think about that.
No, I didn't. I got it completely. That's that humor. I guess you needed that sort of humor for all of the material.
Remember, we also did The Party. I produced that where Peter Sellers destroys the house.
Love that.
You saw it.
Yeah, when someone's under the bed, isn't there in that?
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's under the bed and hiding from the evil producer, Gavin MacLeod, who is trying to seduce Claudine Loger, who is Andy Williams' wife. It was the only picture she ever made, and she sings in it. She sang rather nicely in it.
You're so charming. Okay, tonight, since you're an artist, what color, if you could choose any color to describe tonight, what color would it be? How you feel?
Flaming orange.
Ooh, I love it.
Orange is kind of like slight danger, but funny, and you see people running around in orange, they're workers and things like that. They look like tangerines rolling down the street or something.
And that's the color for tonight, tangerine.
So. Flaming tangerine.
Flaming tangerine. Okay, Angus. Yes. Now, you're an actor and a director.
Yeah.
A producer as well?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about your... No, don't change your accent. I love it. Okay, so what are you working on?
Well, at the moment, I'm about to work on a film called The Holy Roller, which we'll shoot when we get back to... I'm actually living in New Zealand. It's pronounced like New Zealand. They speak with a little bit of a different accent. Okay. But I'm Australian, though. And, so we're going to start shooting on that. We'll go into pre-production when we get back, and that's a story about a struggling pastor who is down on his luck, and he decides to go in the big city to, try and change the world. He meets a nightclub owner who just has an overdose, and he prays for him, and apparently a miracle happens. So the nightclub owner sort of takes him under his wing, and gives him a job in the club, and eventually he realizes that he obviously owes all this money. The nightclub owner owes a lot of money to an underworld boss, and so he decides to turn the club into a church. After watching a televangelist on TV, raised a lot of money. So the church grows, does really well, and because of that, the drug trade and everything else declines, and therefore the underworld boss has to send out a hitman just to solve the problem. But of course, the hitman then has a need himself, and then when you see the movie, you will find out the truth.
How can I see this movie?
I've got to make it first. Oh yeah, and then there's another one I do want to shoot in America, which hopefully I'll do the following year, which is called Motivation, which is a story of a struggling overweight motivational speaker who is misdiagnosed and told he has 3 months to live. So he decides to, instead of motivating people, he decides to unmotivate people and help them to stop and smell the roses and all that sort of stuff.
What got you into filmmaking?
Because I'm not very good at anything, and this is the only thing I can do. No, actually, I started off as a special effects. I wanted to do special effects makeup artist sort of thing, where you do blood and guts and things. Mm-hmm. And so I dressed up as not women, but as monsters. I mean sorry.
As not woman, that would be a man.
No, that's wrong. I dressed up as Frankenstein and nearly gave my dad a heart attack when he was lawn mowing. So yeah, I used to do that, and then I sort of went from there into acting as well. Yeah, I sort of went. It was a natural progression. I think I was watching horror films too many times and had nightmares and stuff, so you shouldn't really,
Okay, now sitting to my right is Simon Dooley. It's just a really cool name. Okay.
It's a ringtone.
Yeah, Simon Dooley. Okay, so tell me about now your relationship with Angus is? No, you work together.
Yeah, so I'm in Australia, and we met in Sydney, Australia, and then Angus met his beautiful wife, who's from New Zealand.
Now, you're more than just a lawyer. Right? I mean, that's important, but you're also an actor.
That's right, and that's why we're here to meet other people in the industry, and so looking to meet other Lawyer actor wants to meet lawyer actor.
Well, how do you go from being a lawyer to an actor? How's that work?
Well, everybody has a different way. For me, exactly. I do the lawyering, and I also do the acting.
Okay.
And so it's just a matter of scheduling things in, and they actually both open up doors for each other as well.
Yeah, I'm sure the networking there must be pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, and actually in the law, everybody that is in a conflict situation is there because of a need.
You could write your own contracts.
That's right, if anyone would sign them. But with acting, you're always looking at what is the need of this character and what's the objective of the characters in the particular production. I was just telling you how I actually had to play a guy from the Appalachian Mountains who it's in a play called Standing with Blackness by an American writer called Drew Larimore. And I've caught up with him while I've been here, and he wrote about the American obsession with gun control. And so this was a story where I played the father of a boy with Asperger's syndrome who is autistic, and he has just shot and killed with my Magnum 44 gun one of the neighbourhood boys. And so this is a problem. My character, immediately before the play begins, has made a split-second decision to take the body of the boy that's been shot and bury it out in Old Man Masterson's yard. And probably not the best idea. And then the rest of the play examines...
Oh man! So
that was a really heavy piece, and that was a
did
really...
you have to do any research for that?
I did. The beauty of the internet is that I got on the internet and I got on some Kentucky radio on my computer, and I was listening to that and did a whole lot of research on that, and it was a really interesting piece.
I was just going to ask
did it.
How about accent-wise?
I did it with, the voice coach, Carmen Liziak, taught me how to go through with the vowels and everything. And
Could we have a line from the movie? Maybe not.
Well, he just comes on and he just says, dig a hole out in Old Man Masterson's yard, took me a good hour, put him in a bag and covered him up.
Oh, creepy. Well, you heard it here, folks, at the fire pit. Okay, see you in Tennessee, guys.
Bye.
Ciao.
See ya. Bye.
What do Australians say when they say goodbye?
G'day, mate.
No, that's when you say hello. You can't say... you say, yeah, bye.
Okay.
Yvonne Lehman.
Tell the podcasters your special gift.
I'm director of the Blue Ridge Mountains Christian Writers Conference that meets in May, and this will be my 25th year for directing the conference.
That must take a lot of time, effort, and energy.
It sure does. I started out with about 100 students, and now we have gone up as far as 410, so it takes a lot of work.
410 students. Are you pulling your hair out?
Yeah, it's falling out by itself. I don't pull it, no. I think the hair color does that. Oh, no.
What does it take in order to organize that?
Well, when you first start, you have to just think you can do anything. You're young and foolish. You don't know that you can't do it, and you just rely on God. And the day it starts, you go to a room and hide for 2 hours.
And cry.
Yes.
Cry.
Yes, you really don't know what it takes. You know, you just say, okay, this is where God is leading me. I mean, it was a 2.5-year effort before it began to work.
I think that's wonderful. Wow, and your stamina now, and you're still doing it.
I am, and last year I had my first novel conference. So I'm thinking of turning the Blue Ridge one over to someone else, and I'm going to focus on novelists who are already more advanced and to learn more about the craft and become better.
Thank you so much for being such a beautiful spirit.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.